Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys doing today? Well, happy Memorial Day weekend. It is Sunday night, going into Monday morning, going into Memorial Day weekend. It actually feels like Saturday night. And it is 50 degrees outside. Tanya said she was going to go to the pool tomorrow, but I looked in the weather and it said it's supposed to be 74. It's actually like 74 and then like 76, and then it dips back down into a high of 69 on like Wednesday. But by like Friday, it's supposed to be back into the 80s again. So next week, probably not this week, but next week, I will be at the pool. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I have my front patio done. I have my back deck done. We have the landscaping done that we wanted done. Everything looks beautiful. The woman that's like one of the people in charge of the landscaping even was walking by the other night with her dog, and she's like, look, your front porch looks so nice. I said, thank you so much. She goes, I just really like how you have it set up. I was like, thank you. It just makes me so happy. I am so nesting. It's crazy. And got my new sheets on for summer, and got my pool bag. My pool bags came, and what else? I can't think of what else. We got our towels today, those Turkish towels. I think they're called Turkish towels. And I had ordered one already that was blue, and then Alex was like, oh, I've been wanting to get one of those. Our friend had one when we were in Florida. She had the kind that when we went down there with the couple and then the other friend of ours whose husband couldn't come, well, she had one of those Turkish towels that like it just shakes sand off of it, like it doesn't hold sand. And she like used it the whole trip, and so she really liked it to like lay on the chairs on the beach, and then also to like just like wrap around her when she was like walking back to the condo. And so Alex was like, I've been wanting to get one of those, and I said, well babe, I'll order you one. What color do you want? And he was like, I want black. So I was like, ooh, I think I might want a black one too. So I got online, because on Amazon they're not super expensive. And so I got on Amazon, and I actually picked him out this like pattern one that I thought was cool. I thought he would like it. And so, and then the one that I got was just like stripes, kind of stripes, like big stripes. And I never know what I'm going to vlog about when I get on here. It's so funny. I was like, I just started the camera. I didn't think I'd be talking about towels, Turkish towels. But anyway, which reminds me of Turkish Delight from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So anyway, somebody's texting me. I have no idea who it could possibly be. So anyway, and it's like a big text too. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so I like sent him a picture of, he was upstairs, I was downstairs. Do you guys ever text each other when you and your partner are like upstairs and downstairs? So I texted him and I said, well, I think I was sitting on the front porch, I don't know, but I sent him a picture of him and I said, let me know which one you want. And he picked the other one. He picked the one like the one I have that's like stripes. So they both came today, and I told him he could open them, but they were still, the packages were still sitting on the counter this afternoon. But anyway, so yeah, it was, so that's, I don't know. But anyway, I got my bags all ready. I'm going to put my suntan lotion in there and all that kind of stuff. My suntan oils, all of my stuff. I do need to get on Sol de Janeiro, and I need to order some stuff from there, though, because I'm out of the Copacabana cream, and I'm using the acai cream, acai, is that how you pronounce it? Cream lotion, and I don't like it as well. I mean, it's fine, but like, it's just regular lotion, and the Copacabana cream smells so good. I mean, it's the smell is part of what I like about it. And so you're not supposed to put it on your face. I don't think it's like a body lotion, but I do put it on my face, and it kind of actually makes my face burn a little bit, and I like that. But anyway, and I also have been using the Duke Cannon men's face wash that you can get at Target. I've been using that in the shower, and I really like it. And also, there's a Duke Cannon. Is it Duke Cannon? No, it's called like Newscaster. I think it is Duke Cannon. Shampoo and conditioner in one, which I usually don't like. But I do like the shampoo and conditioner, and it's like supposed to make your hair thick like an 80s like newscaster, and it really does. Like, it really does make your hair like really thick. I napped on my hair a little bit tonight, but we don't care about all that, do we? It's a little poofy over here. So let's see what I did today. Didn't film any videos today except for putting up my vlog, and I got up. Oh well, I vlogged earlier today, so I got up and vlogged. Well, we just hung around the house for a little while, and then I went and vlogged while Alex was watching the Friends reunion. You know what? Okay, so I didn't watch Friends. Like, I'm not a Friends person. Like, I never got into it. I didn't really understand the hype, honestly. I mean, I've watched episodes of it. This guy that I dated right out of treatment, he was like obsessed with it. I remember he came for this date one time, and I was so excited to see him. Oh my God, this guy looked like Ben Affleck. He was gory. He still does look like Ben Affleck. We're friends on Facebook, and he's super cute and really had his stuff together. And he was like the only guy, like he was, well, I mean, I had dated somebody before, and he could care less what was going on with me, and I had a crush on somebody else, but this guy, I had met him my last night out, and I've told this story, I think, before on here. I didn't remember meeting him. I know it's bad, but that was my last night before I got sober. It was the night I actually went into treatment, late that night, early the next morning. But my friend that I went to, I went to kindergarten, elementary, junior high, high school, college, and graduate school with, she knew him through some other people. And so, he, like, the whole time that I was in treatment, he would ask about me. And he'd be like, how's Peter doing? Whatever, you know? And that was, like, real appealing to me. Although this guy that I had dated, that was the guy that introduced me to cocaine, I liked bad boys back in the day. And he was definitely that. He was trouble. And, so he and his friends were just, and not just because of that, but he was pretty heavy into all of that. And he had gone on and dated somebody else who just recently passed away, and I went to high school with them, and I was so weird. It was like a flashback in time, because I reached out to his like really good friend, who I'm friends with now, but at the time, like, she and I didn't get along. And I was like, I'm really sorry to hear about your friend. But anyway, I was like calling all my friends to find out what happened to my ex the whole time. He could care less. He could be less bothered with what was going on with me. But anyway, this guy who like had it all together, like, I mean, really great job. Really, he had gone to the Sorbonne in France for part of the school. And I mean, he was like, went to Northwestern University, and he was interested in me. I think he liked fixer-uppers. But anyway, so I was thinking about this the other day. Like, we broke up and then got back together for just like a second before we like broke up. And I remember like the last time that I went to go visit him, I don't know why I remembered this. Do you ever just remember the most bizarre stuff? This will probably be too much information for some people, but whatever. He had like a business trip that he had gone on out west. Like, we broke up, and we were broken up for like 2 weeks. And during that time, and I was like, I thought I was done with it. And he was kind of belittling and condescending to me a little bit. But he was kind of the package too. So I was like, oh well, I guess this is... I had no business being in a relationship. You don't get into a relationship straight out of treatment. That's a big no. They tell us that we don't get into relationships for our first year of sobriety. Number one, because we don't have anything to give anybody else. And number two, because it's a year that we need to take for ourselves. That's why we recommend it. And that you also don't make any major changes. So like, if you're in a relationship, not to get divorced in your first year, not to get out of the relationship, you know, things like that. But anyway, I remember I like spent the weekend with him, and I can remember like the last day that I was there, a bunch of weird stuff happened, and I just was like, I am so done with this. And this was like right before I met Todd, who I've talked about. Because was I driving by then? I must have had a car by then to drive. I don't remember. Because I went to go visit him and he lived in another city. And I was there for the weekend with him. And right after that was when I came back and I took like I started my new semester of school, and that was where I met Todd because he was in my film class. God. And he was everything that this guy wasn't. He was like curly hair, round rim glasses. He smelled so good. And not that this guy didn't smell good, he did. But this guy was very preppy, and I remember he wore like all J. Crew, and that's what I was gonna say. It was like he came, like the first date that he came on over, we were gonna go out to dinner, and then he was going out that night. And when he came in, he was like, he was like, I have to watch Friends. Friends is on. And I was like, what? Like, I had gotten showered and smelled good. I was ready for romance, okay? And we were going to go out to dinner somewhere that it was, you know, and then I was going to come back, and he was going out to this thing that we used to have in Indianapolis called Boing on Sunday nights at the Vogue. It was like this gay guys night. And I was going to stay back because I obviously wasn't going to go out a week out of treatment. And so I had a fireplace in my first apartment. I made this fire with these candles and everything, and I was so excited for him to come back. Anyway, I will tell you the story, how that night ended. So he came back, and we messed around, and then I said, does this mean you're my boyfriend? And I started laughing, and he goes, if you want to be my boyfriend, I'll be your boyfriend. And I was like, oh my God, I still got it. No, but that's what I thought. I thought, oh my God, I still have it. I was in treatment. I didn't think anybody was going to ever want me again. But anyway, so I remember though, when we like broke up for for good, and that was when I went to go visit him. And I remember because he was like, he hated smoking. And I would drive like the 2 hours to go visit him, and I wouldn't like smoke. I didn't visit him that often, maybe two or three times, but I did the whole time I wouldn't smoke. And he hated like folk music, and he just liked pop music. So I remember I like got out, the whole thing ended really, really badly. He had like lied about who I was to somebody, and I was like, I'm not gonna be somebody's secret. Like, he was kind of like out, but not really. And I was like, I'm not gonna be your secret. Like, if you wanna not be out, that's cool. I've dated other people. At that point, I had like kind of made this rule when I was in treatment that I was not gonna date people that were not out. And I wasn't gonna date anybody that didn't have a phone and didn't have a car. Those were my rules. And by phone, I meant at your house, because we didn't have cell phones back then. But I had dated a lot of guys that didn't have cars and didn't have phones. My boyfriend Jack, he didn't have anything. He lived in the back of this art bungalow in this house. God, I thought it was so dreamy. I went over there, and our big date that we had was he made me noodles out of a package, and we laid around on his mattress on the floor all afternoon in the hot August sun, and I just thought it was the dreamiest thing. And he was an artist, and he had paintings everywhere, and I love you, Jack. Jack was so funny. Anyway, oh, Jack, he was a good guy. But I remember Jack, okay, this really pissed me off. Here, let's just tell some truths tonight, okay? So Jack and I, we dated, and everybody was like, you and Jack are so much alike. You guys are so much alike. And Jack was so cute. And I can remember like the first time I saw him, like after we met, because we met out through some friends, and he had on like jean shorts. That's so funny because I've got on jean shorts and a blue shirt. He had like jean shorts and a blue shirt on, and his hair was it was like blonde, sandy, like brownish blonde, and it was kind of a little bit longer. He had it real long at one point, like in a ponytail, but right before I met him, he had cut it all off, and it was kind of like short, like, you know, like longer, like, I don't know, like, you know how you see like guys like in the late 60s, how their hair was? That was kind of how his hair was. And he was sitting, and he was like an artist, and he was in art school at Heron Art School. And at that time, Heron Art School, it's not anymore. It's on the campus at IUPUI now, Indianapolis University, Purdue University at Indianapolis. But at the time, it was like in a separate building, this old building that was beautiful on Talbot Street. And I can remember he was sitting out in front of it. And I had met him like the weekend before, and we like made out in the bar drunk and stuff like that. And I remember like I drove by. Was that when I was... That wouldn't have been when I was sober. Jack and I didn't date when I was sober. No, Jack and I, we definitely did not date when I was... I have a picture that people think is him when I'm sitting in my old apartment. I've got this like V-neck gray sweater on, and I'm sitting there, and I look so high and so drunk, and I'm holding a beer can. So no, Jack and I, we drank together, I remember. But I remember I saw him, and he was painting. He just had like an easel set up, and he was sitting on the ground painting. And I was like, oh my God, that's Jack. Like, I met him this weekend. He's so cute. And I was driving by. I was like driving probably home from school or something. And I was like, oh my God. But anyway, Jack ended up breaking up with me, and I couldn't figure out... I mean, we had so much fun together. And I was so... This really hurt my feelings. I've never... He's the only person to this day that has ever said this to me. And I'm not saying that it's not true, but like, it really hurt my feelings. And I think there's a lot of inner hatred within the gay community. And I think like that whole like mask for mask and like, you know, masculine for masculine and all that kind of stuff. I've never understood all that. Well, he broke up with me and told our mutual friend that I was too feminine for him. Mind you, Jack was like, when we would talk, he'd be like, Peter, oh my God, Peter. Peter, I need a cocktail, Peter. I don't think I was the only one in the relationship that might have been a little bit effeminate, but whatever. We wouldn't have made it that long anyway. It's the truth. We were better friends. And then we ended up like kind of like being like frenemies a little bit, you know, like where you like somebody but you tease them and then the teasing goes too far, and that was kind of how it always was. And I'll never forget, when did he pass? I think it was like the first year that Alex and I were together. He passed away. No, he passed away like 2 years, I think, after that. And because he came up to me, and I think I was dating Alex when he came up to me, and I was out at this bar called Talbot Street. And it had been a long time since I had talked to him. And he apologized to me, and he said, you know what, I just want you to know I'm really sorry for everything in the past. And because he had done some really hurtful things and said some really hurtful things to other people about me. And I've always had kind of a tendency, I wouldn't necessarily say in the past, to be a doormat, but I don't really like confrontation like that. And I just kind of let stuff go in ways in my life that I probably shouldn't have, that I probably should have stood up for myself, especially in times that it really mattered. This country road is so pretty. I love it. I could just drive up and down it all night long. I finished Clara in the Sun earlier today. I actually gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I bawled my eyes out at the end of it. It was such a beautiful book. But and then I started Pumpkin by Julie Murphy, and I love it, so I've been listening to it tonight. But anyway, God, I'm like all over the place. I started with The Friends thing. I will finish that. But, so, he had said some really hurtful things and done some really hurtful things, but he came and said, or he came up to me and said he was sorry for it. It was really nice. And we kind of laughed and talked a little bit, and then our mutual friend, she lives in Florida now, she took care of him like the last year that he died. He was a good guy. So weird that so many of my exes have passed. Well, I mean, like, just people that, you know. But anyway, so this guy that I dated, oh, this was what he did when we broke up. Well, he came in and he said, for the date night, he said, well, I have to watch Friends first. I was like, okay. So we sat there and watched Friends, and I was ready to go on our date. But anyway, the reason I was telling that was because when I came tonight I drove around. Well, Alex and I went to Caroline's house. I'll talk about that in a second. But when we came back, I just dropped him off and he was going to feed the dogs. And I said, do you care if I like go and like run around and listen to the rest of this book? Because I wanted to finish Claire and the Sun, and I had like a half an hour left. I powered through that book. Man, it was better than I thought it was. I mean, it left me, well, I'll talk about that in a second. It just left me feeling so weird. But it was such a beautiful book. And the ending was so beautiful. It just was, I don't know. I've kind of been like down memory lane a lot in my head the last couple days, if you couldn't tell from my vlog earlier today, and like then that book on top of it was just like, man. But anyway, I came upstairs and Alex was watching the Friends reunion. Well, when I came in, I was uploading my, was that, oh, he was watching the Friends reunion. Yeah, he was watching the Friends reunion before we went to Caroline's, because I was uploading my vlog downstairs, and I could hear him laughing upstairs. And I said, are you watching the Friends reunion? And he was like, yeah, I knew you wanted to watch it. And I came upstairs, and I don't know what part it was. It was towards the end. It was like the last 10 or 15 minutes. And he was just like bawling his eyes out. He loves that show. And like the only time I've really ever watched it, was when we were in San Diego. And Alex and I and Fufu and Jesse, we sat around and watched like 2 or 3 episodes. And I went back to the hotel room and I tried to watch like another couple. I was gonna start Friends and watch it straight through. And I did kind of like it, but it just is not my sense of humor. I don't know, like I feel like if I watched a season, I would really like it. But anyway, but man, at the end they started playing this music, and it was Ross and somebody when they were breaking up, and I sitting there listening to it with the music, like I started crying. It was so weird because I don't even watch the show. But anyway, so that was the Friends story. Alex was like watching it and he was like super emotional about it. And I said, did you cry? And he was like, he hates it when I ask him that. And he said, yeah. And I said, do you know my friend used to say, well, I didn't say my friend used to say, I said, you know, it doesn't mean anything if you can't cry about it. I had this friend of mine back in the day, and she used to always say that. She said, if I can't cry about it, I guess it means I didn't mean anything to me. She goes, so, well, if I cry about things, it means something to me. I like that. I don't know if I think it's 100% true, but I like it. If I can't cry about something, I guess it doesn't mean anything to me. Anyway, so I went to go visit him for the weekend, and at the end of the weekend, it was so weird. He like wanted to show me these pictures from his trip, and I was like, okay. And it was like, he was like hiking out in the woods, but he had like gone on this like, literally we were broken up for like 2 weeks, and then I was like, okay, well, maybe I can make it work. There was also this whole situation of him moving. Like, he didn't know if he was going to move to Chicago or to Indianapolis, because he had prospects in both places. And so I was like, well, if he moves to Indianapolis, like, then we can be together. But like, this distance is like not a great thing, especially about being sober and going to meetings and all this kind of stuff. So I remember like he had gone, I don't know why you guys will think this is the weirdest thing too, and I thought it was the weirdest thing at the same time. So, and oh my God, I had another story. I totally forgot about this other story. This would have been like in, God, when would this have been? Like April maybe? It was right before like the summer session started in school. Because I took summer 1 and 2. And I wasn't going to take classes until the fall, but I took summer 1 and 2. And then I think I took the fall semester because I had classes I had to take to get into graduate school. So, I had to take like a biology class, which I ended up taking women's health, or biology of women. And then I had to take, I had like all these extra credits, so I had to like minor in something, so I ended up minoring in film. I think you only needed to have 4 classes for it. It was like 12 credit hours or 15 credit hours to minor in something, so I minored in film. And it was literally like 4 classes. I don't even remember all the ones I took. I took Intro to Film. I think that was 1 and 2. I think I must have done that like summer 1 and summer 2. And then I took French Cinema. That was a good class. Oh my God. I got so into that movie Breathless, Bout de Souffle with Jean Paul Belmondo. Oh my God, so sexy. Then I became kind of obsessed with all that whole era. I always kind of used to be like that. I get, like when I read like all the expatriate novels, like when, you know, like Hemingway and Fitzgerald and Somerset Maugham and Gertrude Stein, I thought I was like an expatriate during that time, and I was not. No, I was not. Sitting on your back, that was what I was drinking. Sitting on your little 4x4 porch in the sun, reading The Sun Also Rises while drinking, what did I used to drink back in the day? That licorice drink. What was it? But they put a coffee bean in. God, why can't I think of what it's expensive, actually. I would go on dates whenever guys would be like, do you want me to buy you something we can drink back at the house? I'd be like, yeah. They'd be like, what do you want? And I would always say this, but then I would drink something else when I got back to the house, so I had the bottle for me later. What was that drink? Why can't I think of what it's called? Shoot. Somebody out there knows what I'm talking about. It's a liquor. It tastes like licorice. And you put it in glass. You can put it on ice, but it turns cloudy. Ouzo is the Greek version of it, because I stole some from my dad when I was in high school, and I filled it back up with water, and it turned cloudy, and I knew I was screwed. But this isn't that. It comes in like a weird bottle, and it has like a blue cap on it, I feel like. And you put like a coffee bean or two in it. I feel like it's a French name. Why can't I remember what that is called? Anyway, I mean, mostly I drank Jack and Coke, but this was what I drank like on special occasions when I thought I was an expatriate sitting on my patio. What is it called? Oh my Lord, I don't ever cuss. I'm gonna have to like pull over and look, because this is gonna drive me crazy. Oh well, I have to read this text message anyway. Sambuca? Sambuca, that's what it is. How did I just remember that? I don't not ever cuss. I cuss, but I just try not to anymore. What is that down there? That looks cute. Is it a car place? It's a car place. We went to eat at this one night when my friend was in town from Oakland. I think this is like an Applebee's. We went there and ate. It's my old sponsor. I didn't even tell this story yet, did I? Okay, so I don't know what, I want another Diet Coke, but I'm not gonna go into the gas station to buy one. I still have enough left in here. There's something about getting sober. I don't know what it is, but if you've gotten sober, you'll know what I'm talking about. It kind of happens like in that first year. Like, you go through a phase where, I mean, you've really put everybody in your life through it. Family and friends, like, you realize that, right? But at the same time, what you realize is you've really put yourself through it too. And you've treated yourself like crap. And like I said, I don't necessarily like the word doormat, but I was kind of. I mean, I accepted a lot of things that I shouldn't have accepted. I mean, the guy that I was so obsessed with about in treatment, I mean, he was so verbally abusive to me. I mean, I look back on the things that he said to me. I would never let somebody get away with that today. Never. I mean, he was, I mean, a lot of my body image issues go back to him. Like the things that he said to me, I mean, I mean, he would say everything from, he and his friends would, like, I can remember, like, they stood me. I was so thin, you guys. I was like 140 when we dated, 150. I mean, way too thin for me. Emaciated. And he would stand behind me on an escalator. I can remember this one. I don't know. It wasn't just always on an escalator. It stopped right when I was telling the story. But he would look at me and he would stand behind me like on the escalator. I remember this one time on an escalator with him and his friend, and he would say, "You are so bottom heavy." He was like, you carry all your weight in your butt. And I mean, today I was, I'd be like, okay. But back then I was so, I mean, I had a bubble butt. I couldn't help it, I mean, today that's something that people want. Back then it wasn't. And he just would make fun of me, I can remember. And he would be like, "I just don't understand it. You're like a stick, and then your butt just sticks out." And he would say things like, "Have you put on 5 pounds?" Just like randomly, just be the weirdest places. Or we would be out to eat somewhere, and I would like order something, and he would say, "Man, you are hungry, aren't you, today?" He was like, "When you're heavier, I guess you are hungry." But then, like, it got worse over time. He was real short, too. I think he had a little bit of a short complex. I dated a lot of really short guys, honestly. He said to me, like, he would say things to me, like, I would, like, try to initiate being intimate, and he would say, "You're disgusting. Why would I ever want to sleep with you?" But then, like, an hour later, like, and I just would be like, I got so, when somebody says that kind of stuff to you, if you've ever been in a relationship where somebody is like verbally abusive to you, there becomes a point where you're like, am I making too much of this? Am I crazy? Or are they crazy? Or what's the deal here? You know what I mean? And why does it look like the sun is coming up behind there? Because it's not. It's not that late. It looks like it in the camera though, but it's not. But anyway, does it show like it's pitch black out here? Because it's pitch black. It's always weird how it does that. But anyway, and then later, like, then he would be like, "So you're not gonna give me any? So, okay." It just was like this back and forth stuff. It was so painful. Like, I never understood, and I really liked him, and I didn't get it. Like, I didn't understand it. And I think part of the relationship was me just trying to constantly get him, or get him to like me more. If I could, like, get him to like me more. And man, I'm gonna tell you, when he dropped me, like, 3 weeks before, well, it was probably 3 months before I went to treatment. I don't know how long it was. Yeah, it was probably a couple months before I went to treatment. I mean, he dropped me and got in a very serious relationship right after me with this guy that I was talking about. I feel like it was closer to when I went into treatment that we broke up, but it couldn't have been that close because I really didn't leave and go a whole lot of places towards the end. I mean, I did, but we weren't dating at the end at all. I was a mess. And that was another thing. Like, I would get real drunk and he'd be like, "Look at you, you're disgusting. Look at you, you're so drunk. Like, you're disgusting." But then he would feed me these drinks. Like, he would buy them for me. It just was the weirdest thing. I don't know. It was so unhealthy. But this guy that so then when I get out of treatment, I meet the girl. Look at the, I said, girl, look at the sky. It looks like it's like the sun is coming up. This is so weird. But then when, so then when I met this guy that was asking, about me and treatment and stuff, I was like, oh my God, I've met like the dream person. And he was nice to me, but at times he was just kind of condescending, and I don't know, like when we would have serious conversations, he wasn't condescending like put me down. He was condescending kind of like they're there, like, you just got out of treatment, like, well, they're there, well, he didn't say they're there, but you know what I mean, kind of like treat me like a kid kind of thing. He was older than me by like 5 years, but anyway, so I went to go visit him for that weekend, and I remember the last day, he was like, "Hey, I wanted to show you these pictures." I was getting ready to leave. It was like right before I was getting ready to leave. And he like wanted to show me these pictures of his trip. And I was like, okay. So he's showing me these pictures. And there's like this guy in these pictures. And I didn't say anything. It was just like this guy on these like rocks, you know, like they were climbing it and hiking and stuff in the woods. And so finally he was like, isn't that guy so cute? And I was like, sure. I mean, I don't know who this person is, you know. And he's like, yeah, I think he's so cute. And he like started using like really graphic language. And he was like, yeah, I did this and I did that. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, just because he looked just like you. He was like, I wanted to be with somebody that looked just like you. And this guy looked nothing like me. We had maybe close, similar hair. And I was like, what? And he was like, I wanted to be with somebody that looked just like you since I couldn't have you anymore. And I was like, I gotta go. And he was like, what? And I go, we're done. I go, I don't know what you're even saying to me. I go, we're done. I go, you're weird. I think I probably called him a weirdo because I love that word. I said, you're a weirdo or something like that. I just was done. And I can remember like I grabbed my bag and he like followed me down the stairs out of his little apartment condo thing. And he was like, wait, that's not how I meant it. I didn't mean it like that. And he was like, I thought it would turn you on. I go, what? I go, you thought you sleeping with somebody else that you thought looked like me would turn me on? I go, what are you talking about? I go, no. You not sleeping with anybody at all would have turned me on. And come back and said, he didn't get it. So anyway, I remember he was standing in his like doorway and I was like in my car. And I had been listening to like Bob Dylan on the way there and he hated Bob Dylan. And he goes, and like my windows were down, I like rolled my windows down and he was like, wait, don't leave. And I reached and I took a cigarette and I lit it and I turned up that Bob Dylan. I remember I pulled out of his driveway. I was like, and I was out of there. I was done with that fool. So then, you have to make amends to people, you know. So later I had to make amends to him and I did. And that was that summer. And he said, and I wasn't dating anybody because my sponsor said I wasn't going to, after Todd and I broke up, my sponsor was like, okay, you're going to do it my way now. We're not dating anybody for a while. I said, okay. So I wasn't dating anybody. So then he was going to come and he was going to visit for a weekend because he was going to see some friends and stuff. Oh, no. He said, I'm coming to town. I like reached out and made amends to him and he was like, okay, whatever. So just for my part, just taking responsibility for my part, you know. And so he said, well, I was planning on coming to Indianapolis. Was that summer? It had to have been because it was before I met my first boyfriend. And he said, why don't, there was like something that afternoon. He like was coming to town and it was like, maybe it was Pride Day that he was coming for. But I don't think I went to Pride Day that year. And I feel like it was more like August and it was something outside. It might have been an art fair or something. But it was where there was going to be a lot of gay guys, I know, because of this. So we both played tennis. And so he was like, well, why don't I come and I'll stay with them one night and I'll stay with you one night, his friends. And I was like, that's cool. And I said, you know, you can sleep on the couch or whatever. I mean, I think we both knew that that wasn't going to be the case. I thought, you know, we were going to maybe like get back together or something, you know. He kind of led me to believe that. So he goes, okay, well, I'm going to bring my racket. Maybe we can play tennis. We can get lunch and take naps and we can like go to this thing. We were going to go to this thing that was like in the afternoon, early evening. And I said, okay. So I don't remember what it was. God, what was it? It was something gay that was outside. I cannot remember what it was. But anyway, so we played this tennis game and I remember we were like halfway, like we hadn't even really got that far into it. But we were maybe like the first game or something. And I remember he goes, so what are we playing for? And I go, what? And he goes, well, we got to bet something. What are we playing for? And he goes, and I was like, I don't care what you decide. Like, I mean, I didn't really understand it. I'm real kind of like innocent when it comes to stuff like that. Like, I don't really get what people mean sometimes by stuff like that. Especially when they're up to something. Like, I'm not a game player. And it's because I'm not any good at it. And so he goes, well, I got you. He goes, why don't we play and we'll have a three-way tonight, and whoever wins gets to pick the person that we have the three-way with. And I looked at him across the tennis court, like, are you effing crazy? Like, what is going on here? And I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm out. I can't remember what I said, but I said something lippy. Because I was like, you can go stay at your friend's house. Like, he went and stayed at his friend's house. He didn't stay there. That's what I was going to say. Like, when you get sober, it's like, you've put yourself down for so long that there's something that comes over you where you kind of are like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I'm standing up for myself a little bit. I didn't get sober to continue to be put down. Like, I'm going to stand up for myself a little bit in moments that, you know, you should. But the trick to it is standing up for yourself. Like, today, I feel like I've learned that trick, at least in my personal life, that I just don't like confrontation at all. So, you know, I just really don't stand up for myself a whole lot. But if I'm somewhere and somebody talks to me out of line or whatever, I'm like, hey, listen, like, that's not cool to talk to me that way. Like, I haven't talked to you that way, you know? Like, yeah, that doesn't really happen that often anymore to me. But I've kind of learned how to, like, say that today, you know, without being like, you can take your crap and hit it. But there are moments for that, too. It was funny because one of my good friends today, he sent me a message on Instagram. He sent me this meme, and he's like my best guy friend. I've talked about him on here before. He's like the guy that we went on a date and then we decided we would be better friends. He sent me this thing, and he was like, girl, this so reminds me of us back in the day, or something like that. It was this meme, and it said, like, I miss him, but I miss him though, or something like that. And then the friend responds and says, F him. That would have been my advice back in the day. I would have said F him. Although, when my ex and I broke up and I went to, I was in Denver that summer after my mom had passed. I remember my friend and I, we would sit on his patio. He had this gorgeous patio that looked down over Cherry Creek in Denver. And we would sit out there, and I can remember he would have a gin and tonic, and I would just sit out there, and we would just, like, talk. And how is it I know? I don't even drink, and I know my friend's drinks because he drinks a Tanqueray and tonic with one lime. I don't know how I know that. But anyway, we would sit there on the patio and just have all these deep conversations and stuff. And I remember this one day, I said, I want to talk about my ex. And he goes, then why? There's no reason to talk about him. And I go, because I miss him. I want to talk. He goes, you don't miss him. And I said, I want to talk about him. Like, I might want to get back together with him. Like, not even like that he was wanting to get back together with me. I was going to make that decision, right? So he said, okay, let's talk about it. And I went on and on and on. And I said, so what do you think? Like, I need your advice. And I'll never forget, as clear as day, what he said to me. He looked at me and he said, you want to know my advice? He said, he's your ex for a reason. And don't forget that. He never liked him to begin with, though. He's my friend that, like, he can be in a relationship because he's married, but, like, he doesn't like any of his friends to be in relationships. He likes all of his friends to be single so that they don't, like, they can, you know, go out and do whatever he wants to do. He doesn't like his friends to be in a relationship, I don't think. But he's changed a lot in the last 10, 12 years. So, yeah, that was that guy that I dated. God, looking back, he was worse than I give him. I'm always like, he was such a nice guy. He really wasn't a nice guy. And then, when I was sober? It had to have been. God, when did I do that? When was that? It was when I had long hair. My friend and I went to Chicago. And we stayed with our friends. But no. We went up to Chicago. When was that? And he had moved up there. My first boyfriend and I got together in October. This must have all happened in that first year. We went to Chicago. Was he there by then? He must have been. And so he was dating this guy and they had broken up. And so he was like, I want you to stay at my apartment and stuff. We always kind of thought we were going to get back together, I guess. I don't know. So I did. And we met our friends out. And we went to this club. And I was like, but I'm with him, and we're going to go out to dinner and whatever tomorrow, and then blah, blah, blah. And I was going to drive my friend home. He had taken, like, the train. Not the train. There's, like, a shuttle thing that goes from Indianapolis to Chicago. I can't remember what it's called. The Megabus. You can pay like $50 and go up there, and it takes like 2 hours to get there. So he took the Megabus up, and I was going to drive him home. And so I said, well, I'll come over tomorrow afternoon. This was like the Saturday night. I can't remember. But like when I was out, this guy that he had dated for like a month was like out. And so my ex got like really, really wasted, and they just left. And there I am in this club by myself. My friends had gone back to their house, and I had no clue where I was. I had no clue where he lived. Oh, my friend had come over there earlier because he knew where it was, and it was in Boys Town. And he had lent me this. I don't know why I remember this. Because I had to make amends for this too. Not Peter's finest moment. He had lent me this like white, like form-fitting kind of like I was then lycra shirt. It was like long sleeved, and on the back it had this like black like cross on it. It was a nightclub in the 90s. Okay. So anyway, I went back to his house. I like couldn't get into the house. Like his roommate came out and was like really pissed because I was like knocking on the door, and I was like, I gotta get my stuff. Like my bag and stuff was there, and I was like, I've got to get my stuff. And so finally his roommate came and like let me in, and he was like, he said something like, he didn't tell me you were staying here, or you're staying here? And I go, no, I'm just getting my stuff. And he was like, what stuff? And my friend was standing there, and he's like, man, he was like, he just wants to get his bag, and we're gonna leave, and everything will be fine. And he was like, then get your effing bag. I said, hey, listen. I said, I didn't do anything. I said, he left me in a bar. I said, I didn't even know that he had left for like 2 hours. I go, he left me in a bar. It must have been like towards the end of that year, because I didn't really ever go out. And this was a sober friend of mine that's gay, and he was like, and my friend kept on saying, he was like, dude, he just wants his stuff, like, and we'll go, you know. So I remember I like went to the door because my bag was in his bedroom, and the door's locked, and I'm like, damn it. So I'm like standing out there, and I'm like knocking on the door, and I'm like, hey, and nobody's saying anything. And so I'm like, hey, like louder. It's like this duffel bag of my clothes and stuff. It had all my stuff in it, you know? So finally, the door opens, and it's this guy that he had been like dated, like hooked up with or whatever. And he looked at me and he goes, what do you want? And I said, I just want my bag. And he goes, then come back for it tomorrow. I said, excuse me? And he like slammed the door in my face and like locked it. I was done. So I knocked on the door again, and like he comes back like 2 seconds later. He's like, I told you to. And my friend had now like walked up behind me, and my friend's really tall. He's like 6'5", and he had like walked up behind me. He goes, and this guy goes, I told you to leave. He goes, he's passed out. He doesn't want you here anyway. Come and get your SH I took tomorrow. It'll be sitting out in the living room or something. I go, all I want is my bag. It's right there. It's all zipped up. Just hand me my bag. And my friend's like, man, just give him his bag. And the roommate comes out, and he's like cussing at me and all this kind of stuff, blah, 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 whatever. This guy takes my bag and unzips it and starts throwing my stuff out in the hallway. I mean, this is ridiculous, okay? So I'm just like, my friend's like, Peter, just be cool. Just be cool about it, right? So I'm like putting my stuff up in the bag. Dude goes back to sleep. Roommate goes back to sleep. We're now out there in the living room. It's like kitchen into living room, right? And I'm like, got all my stuff in my bag, and we're getting ready to leave. He goes, you have everything that you need because you're never coming back to this mess again. And I said, no, you're right. I'm done with him for good. And he goes, you're done with him for good. And I go, I'm done, because he didn't like him. And he goes, you're done with him for good. And I said, I'm done with him for good. He goes, okay. So we start walking out. And I said, oh, I forgot. This is his shirt. Oh, the battery's going to die. It's almost over. The story's almost over. He goes, that should probably mean that I shouldn't tell the end of the story. But I said, he goes, just take it off. And so I took this shirt off and I like threw it on the counter. And when I threw it on the counter, it like laid open completely, like, you know, like it was displayed in a thing. And I remember I like looked over at it and there was a Sharpie marker sitting right next to it. I went and I grabbed that Sharpie and my friend's like, Peter, don't do it. And I go, oh no, forget it. And I took that Sharpie and I wrote all over this shirt that he had just bought. I said, thanks for the shirt, a-hole. Oh my God, I should feel so bad about that, shouldn't I? But he was so rude to me. And you know what? I never got a follow-up phone call. I never got an, I'm sorry. Sorry I left you in the bar. Sorry all this. Sorry. I mean, I never got anything from him. Can you believe that story? And so, yeah. I did make amends to him later, and this is so weird. I didn't know how to contact him. And there were 3 people with his name in Chicago, and I sent each of them a letter with a written amends. And I said, if you're so-and-so, this blah, 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 whatever. And I sent each of them like this amends thing. God. And then I do think I talked to him after that. I think he called me, and I made amends to him, and he was like, that's cool, don't worry about it. And we talked, and I remember he took no responsibility for what had happened or any of it. And that was a long time ago that I sent those letters out. That was before I was with my ex, which was 2001. So I dated some not nice people sometimes. But then my first boyfriend, my second boyfriend, and Alex have been amazing. So I guess you live and you learn, you know, as you get older. I wouldn't behave that way today. I'm not proud of that behavior and looking back on it, you know. That's kind of the worst it ever got, though. Really, at least on my part. I had some people that I dated that were like just, you know, for little short periods of time when I was using that were just absolutely vicious to me. But like I said, you live and you learn. So, and I think you learn as you get older how to handle situations and relationships better like that too, don't you? Anyway, well, that vlog was all over the place and it started with friends, didn't it? So, all right, I'm gonna get off here now and I'm not gonna replace the battery and I'm gonna go home and I didn't even talk about, oh my God, well, I have to talk about what happened today. Okay, well, I gotta replace the battery now because I haven't even talked about my day today. Let me pull in here. I have to talk about my day because it was so fantastic. U-turn here in the parking lot because I'm gonna go home and have a piece of sugar cream pie. That's what I'm gonna talk about in just a second here. Okay, hold on a second. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I have one more episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Australia, I think I have one more. And if I do, I'm gonna go home and I'm going to make a cheese sandwich and have some potato salad and have, why does it look like the sun is coming up? It's so weird. And have a piece of sugar cream pie. Anyway, does it look like that out here this way too? God, it's so weird. Not so much that way, but so we went to Caroline's today, and it was really, really nice. It was Caroline and her husband Mike and her son David, and then her stepson and his wife, and then they had a couple that they had to come over too, but they were only there for a little bit because she's pregnant and due like in 2 weeks, and so Caroline just wanted to give her some presents and stuff, so they just stopped by for like, they were there for like an hour, and then it was also his birthday, so they had reservations at Capri, which Alex and I like Capri. Caroline's like, oh my God, the last time we went to Capri was, we went to dinner there and then we went and saw the lights at Newfields at the art museum. And I said, the last time that we ate at Capri was with Melissa and Jason, and we went to Newfields and saw the Christmas lights at the art museum as well. So anyway, what was I gonna say? Okay, so Caroline was like, I felt, and I had already figured that there wouldn't be like vegetarian stuff, and she said, I was sitting around last night and I just realized that the pasta salad has salami in it, or whatever in it, bologna, or not bologna, salami in it. The pasta salad looked good. And she was like, and I realized I had, like, and we made buffalo chicken dip, and she's like, we had literally nothing for you except for chips. She was like, so I went to the grocery store, and she asked the guy at the deli if they had veggie patties, and they didn't, but he showed her or pointed where to get it. So she got me 2 Impossible burgers, and then she got me coleslaw. And Mike cleaned off the grill, this special area, and made so it wouldn't be cross-contaminated, and he grilled my Impossible Whoppers. And let me just tell you, to have an Impossible Whopper off the grill today was like, I felt like it truly was a Memorial Day barbecue. It was fantastic. And I had coleslaw, which was delicious. I had chips, and I had taken the not key lime pie, the sugar cream pie and the strawberry pie. Nobody had any sugar cream pie but me, but everybody ate the strawberry pie. Alex had a piece, David had 2 pieces, and they said it was really, really good. Alex had a huge piece of it, which was funny because I didn't think he would. And I think Caroline might have had a piece. And then I had coffee afterwards. We sat around and outside, and they were throwing a football around, and then we played a round of, what do you call it? I said bags, and Mike goes, we don't call it bags, Peter, we call it cornhole in Indiana. I go, okay, Mike. We played cornhole, and it was Alex and I against Mike. This was the first round, against Mike and his daughter-in-law, and they beat us. We got laughing so hard. She and I were standing next to each other, and we got laughing so hard. I love them so much. And it was 14 to 21. I actually did pretty good. I got in like 4 of them in the hole, which I was very proud of myself. I started talking about it in front of Caroline's. So anyway, but no, we just played cornhole, and then after we were done playing, then Mike and his daughter-in-law played David and his brother. And it was fun. We had a really good time. And then came home and just relaxed, and that was it. And then I listened to a little bit of Pumpkin by Julie Murphy, and now I am going to go home, and I am going to make a cheese sandwich on that Hawaiian bread that I love, and have a piece of sugar cream pie and some potato salad. I'm like so into potato salad right now. Oh, the other thing I'm into is those chicken nuggets, as Morningstar chicken. Well, they're fake chicken nuggets, but I'm like really into those right now. I don't know why. So anyway, that's about it, and I just wanted to share with you guys what we did on Memorial Day. Did you have a good Memorial Day? Let me know in the comment section below what you did. I hope you guys had a good Memorial Day weekend. One more day until June. Can't believe it. Tomorrow's the last day, and then it's June, July, and August, and it's summer is here. And I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I know, I know, I know, I know, I know, I want you, I want you. So anyway, and I just downloaded this song by Shaka Khan. Through the fire, through the da 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 da. Do you guys know that song? I love that song by Shaka Khan. Anyway, I've been buying all these movies too on iTunes. Like, you know what they do not have on iTunes? I could not believe it. You can't buy it anywhere. I can't find it to buy it anywhere. I can't find it streaming anywhere, and I could not believe it. And that is Foul Play with Goldie Hawn and Chevy Chase, and it's like one of my all-time favorite movies of life. And then, you know what? I looked on YouTube, and the entire movie is on YouTube, and it's a really good version. By the way, the other day, I finally did finish. I watched it like in parts over like a 2-day period. I finished When a Stranger Calls. You guys, that is a really scary movie. I like really forgot how scary that movie is. And there's actually a sequel to it that's really scary too. You can watch them both on Amazon Prime. And I forgot how fantastic Colleen Dewhurst is. Do you guys remember her? She was married to George C. Scott, I think. She was so fantastic in that movie. But anyway. All right. Now it's time for me to start. Well, I have to read the True Crime Book Club this week. But it is also time for me to start really getting into my shows. It was too cold tonight. It's 50 degrees right now. It was too cold tonight to sit outside and watch shows. I mean, it's going to have to be like in the upper 60s or low 70s to sit outside and watch shows. But I asked Alex the other day, I said, are you going to watch all these RuPaul's? And he goes, I don't know. He's like, I've got so many shows to watch. I was like, babe, they are so good. I said, I mean, I bought the app. You might as well use it. And he was like, I think I am. He was like, which one should I start with? And I said, you should start with the UK ones. The UK ones are really, really good. But the Down Under one in Australia is actually, I think it might be my favorite season I've watched in a long time. They're just like real shady to each other. I was kind of telling Alex some of it today. He's like, okay, I think I want to watch it. I said, it's fun to watch. He's like, I need to download that app. So, but I've got a bunch of shows I want to watch. I want to watch that one that's with, is it with Kate Winslet that everybody is talking about? Something Mayor of Eastwood. Is that what it's called? Everybody's talking about that. I want to watch that. Anyway, oh, and you know what is coming out on Peacock this summer, which I like got on Peacock and I was like looking at it and it's like, it doesn't even make any sense to me. Is it just like an imitation Hulu, but not as good? So anyway, the show The Lost Symbol, which is based on the Dan Brown books, is coming out, and it's like, it's supposed to be called Langdon. It's going to be the series, I think, but I don't know. But it's supposed to be really good, and it comes out in July, I think. Also, in case you care, because Alex asked me tonight, the Gossip Girl reboot comes out in July as well. July 7th, I think. It comes out 7/7 or 7/3. I saw on Twitter tonight. I can't remember. I have no desire to watch the Gossip Girl reboot, but Alex will watch it. He loved that show. Alex has watched Gossip Girl probably more times than he's watched Schitt's Creek, and he loves Schitt's Creek. He's watched. David got him a candle today, and it was like, you know, one of those like Catholic prayer candles, but it has David from Schitt's Creek on it, and he got it for Alex, and Alex was really excited. All right, you guys, listen, I'm going to get off here now and go home and have my late night snack and watch a little bit of RuPaul's Drag Race before I go to bed. So I'm going to get off here now, and I love you guys, and I hope you are having a magically amazing Memorial Day. If nobody else has told you this today, I love you. Be kind to one another, and like it says in the 4 agreements, always lead with love, pass love in the world, put hope, compassion, kindness, wonder, awe, tolerance, understanding, hope, faith, and courage. But like I said, most important, love out there in the world. And I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Love ya!